I did everything right, and they indicted me.
Let's see. Last week, Trump received a letter from special counsel Jack Smith, fake ass name having weirdo. Just kidding. I mean, he does have a fake name, but I don't know if he's a weirdo. The target letter cited 3 statutes that could be applied to prosecution of Trump by the special counsel Jack Smith, including a potential charge of conspiracy to defraud the United States. Check out all these charges. Ready for this?
I'm so ready.
Conspiracy to commit offense or defraud. Trump and his allies could face a conspiracy charge based on fake electors, witness tampering, obstruction of an official proceeding, influencing or impeding an official proceeding, deprivation of rights under color of law. Those are pretty. What is that? Makes it a crime for people acting under color of law, meaning any public officials or law enforcement acting under their legal authority, to willfully deprive a person of a right or privilege that's protected under the Constitution. Okay. So, I mean, this is pretty incredible stuff. A third indictment for our boy, Donnie. Do these indictments start to become meaningless after a while to the general population? Or do you think these indictments are going to actually influence people's perception of Trump?
I mean, I think people's perception of Trump have been influenced already in the sense that, like, people have already made up their minds, I think. They're either pretty solidly, they're either pretty solidly in defense of Donald Trump no matter what happens, and we put them in the 30% category of like kooks and crazies, or the larger population is, I think, kind of sick of Trump. Like, he's no longer the new dog. You know what I mean? He's no longer the new player on the field. He doesn't have that that I'm actually more moderate than you would think. I'm not the regular Republican attitude that he was able to present. In many respects, he was much more racist, much more openly racist, while still towing the line on the same old Republican policies, which was unique. But in others, I think he kind of came across as moderate, like his LGBT defense. His
dark past.
Yeah. Well, those are the types of unique things, like him regularly speaking about corruption in Washington and like the influence of like money in Washington was genuinely refreshing to a lot of people. Obviously, he didn't follow through on any of those in a serious way. He was never going to, but basically he was seen as the guy who said things that everyone else was too afraid to say. And once you're president for 4 years, we know what it was like under his leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And especially with the tail end of his presidency being COVID, I think that really, really destroyed any kind of goodwill that he may have generated from like moderates and independents and those in the margins. So I don't know what it's going to look like. It's a race to the bottom right now, with Biden on the one hand not being charismatic, not being remotely inspirational.
Are we still sure that Biden can beat Trump? Because Trump is polling not that bad.
I can't make this assessment yet. Like, I have to see more as the general election nears. I will caution everyone who is very comfortable about a Biden victory and remind them that Donald Trump lost, yes. However, there was a fucking major Hail Mary that a lot of people neglectfully forget, which was he got COVID right before election. It was worse than the Jim Comey second Hillary Clinton letter, which we know put a dent in Hillary Clinton's already failing campaign. He got COVID right before election, as people were like desperately trying to forget about COVID on the Republican side, especially.
You think people didn't vote for him because he got COVID?
I think it reminded people how devastating COVID is. It reminded people.
You really think that affected the voting? I haven't even thought about
100%. You haven't thought about it because the media, for some weird reason, never adds this into their analysis. It's more so that conversation is so
Hold on. I don't understand the mentality you're speaking to. There's some dude sitting on his porch with a piece of lemongrass in his mouth playing a banjo. You know, typical Trump.
That's not the guy. That's not a swing voter.
So who's the guy? Describe the guy.
That guy doesn't even vote in usual elections. That guy is voting for the first time for Trump.
Describe the guy who's like, Trump got COVID, I'm not voting
living in a Virginia suburb, has like a decent job, like a high-paying decent job, has a family, is upper middle class and wants tax breaks and will potentially be swayed by Obama or was swayed by Obama, but like really like Donald Trump as this like truth teller. You know what I mean?
Okay, so definitely what's his thought process when Trump gets COVID and he says, I'm not voting for him now?
He doesn't like COVID. He doesn't like the shutdowns, but at the same time, I'm just like making one profile off the top of my head, but there are plenty of people like this where he doesn't like the shutdowns, but he's also terrified of COVID because his grandfather or his dad died of COVID. You know what I mean? Okay. And thinking about that, thinking about how deep and dark of a pit that everyone was in at that time, either due to Applebee's not being open or due to the fact that they were staying at home and genuinely worried about COVID. Trump getting COVID right at the last second, right before the election, reminds everyone of that, of the dangers of COVID and Trump's neglectful attitude towards COVID. So an election that was like centered around the economy being eviscerated by COVID and Trump's neglectful actions.
So you think him catching COVID was a signal to people that he had not done a good job of preventing?
It was a reminder to people
COVID.
that maybe wanted to forget about it, especially. And I think that played a huge role in a lot of moderates moderates that were not exactly super enthusiastic, or independents that were not exactly super enthusiastic, or even some Republicans that were like embarrassed by Trump's behavior to go, all right, fuck this, I'm not voting. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Well, ultimately a lot of those suburbs that originally voted for Donald Trump turned around and did either vote for Joe Biden or didn't vote. So I think that was a big problem.
That is interesting. Okay, I haven't never heard that analysis.
But there's more though. If you look at the midterms and the lackluster performance from Trump-backed candidates during the midterms, I think Americans do have. I mean, they voted for Biden because they wanted to return to normalcy. They wanted to go back to brunch. They wanted to stop fucking thinking about politics all the time. Mm-hmm. They had politics fatigue. So they were just like, just give me a normal guy. Give me a normal guy that is just running this shit on autopilot. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to watch CNN. I don't want to get like psychic damage from what's going on. This isn't to say that, you know, the issues do not persist. Of course they do, but Americans did not want to think about it, which is why they voted for the normal guy candidate, right?
They couldn't have gotten a more normal guy too. It's like Joe Biden's just like, he's like the archetypal president in the movie that appears in one scene. You know what I mean? He's just like generic old white guy president.
Yeah, so they voted for the generic old white guy, even though they knew that he was old as hell, even though they knew that he wasn't going to, you know, make any campaign promises, fulfill any of those campaign promises in general, which he, of course, didn't. Then the economy went to shit due to greedflation and corporate consolidation, the war in Ukraine, and what it did to energy, or what energy developers took advantage of in that regard. And then Biden's positives went away fairly quickly, even though he got a big boost originally from being the guy who finished the inoculation campaign and being the guy who was leading the charge when things opened up. Mm-hmm. Right? People don't think about these sorts of things in a rational way. They think about how someone makes you feel, or they think about how they feel at a certain point in time. And Biden already had that massive boost working for him, and he squandered that goodwill over the course of his presidency. And he's very old, and he's not inspirational at all. And I don't know what is going to. I don't know what's going to happen
Well,
for that reason.
I'm excited for this all to get started in a month. The first debate, boy, we are going to feast, dude. Here's how it's looking.
A month.
Trump is crushing. DeSantis is crashing.
Oof, yeah. DeSantis is, I could
Pence
talk about
is
that
like,
for hours.
Apparently, Pence isn't even qualified.
He didn't qualify for the debate.
For the debate because he doesn't have enough individual donors. He only raised like $1.4 million.
Yep.
Yeah,
what a fucking moron.
Who would vote for
Pence?
Mike Pence?
I don't know, but if you're vice president and you can't raise more than $1.4 million for your campaign in a country of 350 million people,
The Trump.
I mean, what the fuck?
The Trump camp went and did January 6th, and they were trying to hang him.
Straight up, they brought gallows. My
Like
friend.
he doesn't even have the
Dude,
Trump booth.
Wouldn't it be so good to see Trump and Pence on stage together, and Trump's just being like, "Hey, Mikey, we're bringing out the gallows again."
Yeah, I mean, it would be great
Threaten
for
someone on
content,
stage.
but I think he could destroy DeSantis in a similar fashion. I want to see DeSantis,
It's gonna be
Trump's
so good.
blood boy DeSantis get eviscerated by him.
That's what I'm looking for. I
But
don't
he
even know
says
who-
he doesn't want to do debates. He says he's not going to do the debates.
Who?
Trump.
Oh, he better not
Wait,
be
I thought
private
he-
to that.
Trump is
He
saying
has,
that
said,
he would
he has
not.
said that, but come on.
No, the people need it.
When he sees the glitz and the glam, everybody's showing up. He's not going to be able to
Okay.
resist.
The dog unplugged something, I think.
Uh-oh.
I genuinely think Trump not participating in the debate will hurt him big time. People and his fans specifically, they want to see him up there,
Yeah,
causing damage.
I want to see him up there. I'm a fan.
He's got to do it. He has to do it.
I think Trump looks really good when he's matched up against enemies. And I think right now, Trump could very easily portray DeSantis as a corporate stooge and maybe even recover some of the outsider narrative by portraying the entire Republican Party infrastructure as like built against them, all these rhinos. And he can just very easily say like, Ron DeSantis is a rhino. I defended him foolishly, and he's trying to destroy me because he's like backed by the Republican Party. They don't want me to save America from Joe Brandon, and because Ron DeSantis has the charisma of a wet napkin, he will look awful next to Donald Trump.
He's going to get so mad.
All it'll take for Ron DeSantis to tank even further in the polls is for him to do that like he does that weird face every time he reacts to something. Like he emotes like such a freak,
I saw a recent interview with Ronnie Boy, and he's attempting to smile in the beginning, and it's just so unsettling. The man cannot
uncomfortable.
smile. I'm trying to find where was
Here,
that?
while you're looking for that,
I love the Italians.
I just want to show this tweet or not tweet, truth or whatever from Trump.
No, Vivek is actually popping off in some polls.
I love his line about Christie.
Vivek Ramaswamy is now beating DeSanctimonious. Christie dead at his stomach band. Ada Hutchinson a solid -1%. I'm up 44 points. Let's make America great again. Christie
GOAT.
dead at his stomach band.
Dead as his stomach band.
Oh, dead as
He's as dead as his stomach band.
I'm not sure I understand. I know he's trying to call him fat, but like the analogy
Stomach band,
is-
like what do you call it?
Lap band.
Yeah, he's saying his lap band didn't take because he's fat still.
Yeah.
his lap band.
The surgery to get your stomach.
Oh, did he get that?
I don't know
I
for
think
sure,
he
but
might have, yeah.
I think Trump's implying
Oh,
that he did,
dead
and
as
that
his
it didn't
stomach
work.
band.
Yes,
that's
yes.
fire. That's
That's
really
what
good.
I'm saying. It
That's
fucking
fire.
killed me when I saw
That's
it.
fire.
Yeah,
That is good.
So as far as things that work to Biden's advantage is the Republicans still basically controlling every aspect of American existence from the state legislature level, but the Democrats haven't done a really good job of like communicating that. You have the Roe v. Wade anxiety still that's very prominent and very real. And some of these freaks are still gung-ho about further restricting access to these really important types of healthcare. So I think that definitely plays in favor for Joe Biden. However, the Democratic Party, I hear nothing from them. I do not hear anything from them as far as like, this is bad. Look at how bad these guys are. Like their messaging is completely out of whack. But so is the Republicans.